Do you ever find yourself reacting to situations in ways you don't fully understand, like you're being controlled by an invisible script? Are there parts of yourself you've been ashamed of, ignored, or tried to hide, especially the little child inside you? And what would it feel like if you could truly see, hear, and comfort the younger version of yourself right now? Take a deep breath, friend. Today, we're exploring one of the most tender and powerful layers of healing, your inner child, the part of you that learned how to feel safe or unsafe, the part that still holds your earliest experiences of love, fear, and belonging. And when you begin to reconnect with this part of you, you open the door to emotional freedom, self compassion, and deep inner alignment. And this is my jam, and this is what I work with my clients. So let's get started. Actually, before we start with the episode, I wanted to let you know that what you're about to hear is a special episode from the vault. When I originally recorded this conversation, I was still building the foundations of what has now become my work around alignment, around nervous system coherence, subconscious patterns, and self trust. While my language has evolved, and I know that you've noticed, the heart of this message remains just as relevant today. And as you listen, you may notice that I now explain some concepts differently, especially around the subconscious mind. Today, I say that lasting change isn't just about changing thoughts, it's about creating coherence between your brain, your nervous system, your subconscious patterns, your identity, your energy, and your actions. That's what I now call alignment. Even so, this episode offers an important foundation for understanding why so many of our behaviors, our reactions, and emotional patterns happen automatically. I hope you enjoy this conversation, friend. And as always, take what resonates, notice what lands differently for you today, and let this be another step in helping you understand yourself with more compassion and clarity. I also want to remind you that if you listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, please leave me a review, or in Spotify or on any other listening platform, because that's the way that you help me grow. And remember that I've told you that that is one of the goals this year for me, to grow the podcast. And if you love YouTube, yes, I am in YouTube as well. You can go to the podcast page on my website, michellemaripacheco.com/podcast, and you can see the link there for you to listen to me in YouTube and leave me your comments, or leave me your questions in the comments of topics that you want me to discuss here, because I read all of your comments. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get started with inner child work. If you're tired of feeling stuck, disconnected, or held back by old beliefs, and you're ready to start living in alignment with your deepest values, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Michelle Marie, spiritual neurocoach, cancer survivor, and twin mompreneur. On Rewire to Align, I share the neuroscience and spiritual practices that help me transform my own life, guiding you to release limiting beliefs, rewire your mind, and step fully into your sovereignty. Are you ready to live in alignment with who you truly are? Let's rewire, align, and manifest. Welcome to the podcast, friend. Welcome to Rewire to Align. I'm Michelle Marie. I am your favorite spiritual neuro coach, and I am here today to talk about something that I love teaching, and something that I did for a long time, which is inner child work. For a long time, I used to think that healing meant becoming this calm, unshakable version of myself, the one that never got triggered or never overreacted. But the deeper I went in, the more I realized healing wasn't about perfection at all. It was about remembering that little girl that lived in me and remembering that little version of me who learned to stay quiet and to feel safe and who dimmed her light to belong. And every time I caught myself judging my reactions or trying to fix a feeling or being like a little dog paddling and asking for begging for love. If you know my story, I started to have the awareness to ask. And I asked myself, what is this emotion trying to show me about myself, about the part of me that still feels unseen or unloved or unheld? That's when everything started to shift because I was not fighting myself anymore and I was not trying to fix myself anymore. I was just listening and remembering who I was. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about here. We're going to talk about learning to reconnect with that inner child energy, not from a place of fixing, because remember, as I said to you before, you don't need any fixing. You're just remembering, you're just aligning to your authenticity. And we're going to do it from a place of love and understanding. And I'm going to mention several people that I admire, like Dr. Joe Dispenza and other doctors, other researchers that have made different findings in their career about this topic. So, as Dr. Joe Dispenza often reminds us, and you can find all his books in my Amazon storefront. I'm going to leave that link for you. But he reminds us that the moment that we become aware of an old pattern, we have the power to change it, not by forcing it away, but by bringing it into the light of our consciousness. And Dr. Joe is not the only person that says this. If you know who Bashar is, you know that he also says this. So let's start with the science because I always like to start with the science and with the spirituality. And what is inner child healing? Your inner child, friend, is not just a concept, it's an energetic, it's an emotional imprint stored in your subconscious mind and your body. It carries your early memories, your emotional needs, and the stories you form about who you are and what you deserve. And you know that we have been programmed by society, by our caretakers, by experiences. Now, when you talk about this from a neuroscience perspective, those early experiences literally shape the brain's wiring. The amygdala, which handles fear, and the hippocampus, which stores memory, and I hope that you already know this, are especially sensitive during the time that you were a child. And there is this clinical professor of psychiatry at the UCLA School of Medicine. He's a neuroscientist as well, and his name is Daniel Siegel. And he has a book where he explains that when a child experiences emotional neglect or criticism, neural circuits in these areas become sensitized, meaning that the body learns to stay on alert. And this is the reason why, as an adult, we may react strongly to small things. Have you ever overreacted? I have overreacted many times because, we're not perfect. It's all a journey, my friend. And we're not overreacting. We're just experiencing these emotions that were never soothed when we were young. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, which I love, builds on this by showing that through awareness, emotion, and intention, we can rewire those neural pathways. And you can find his book, Becoming Supernatural, in my Amazon storefront again. It's an amazing book. You're going to love it. And when you connect with your inner child with compassion and presence, because we have to have compassion and not feel shame for these experiences that happen because the inner child is part of us. It was a version of us. When we have that compassion and that presence, you're not being sentimental. You're literally teaching your brain and your body a new emotional pattern. This is where neuroscience meets spirituality your energy starts shifting, your frequency starts rising, you start vibing higher, and your nervous system learns what true safety feels like. You become calmer, you become a creator, not a reactor. And let me tell you, I think there's a book, and I cannot recall who wrote it. The Body Keeps a Score. I think his name is Besser van der Kolk or something. However, what it says is that the mind might try to bury trauma to protect us, but the body remembers, the body keeps the score, and it holds on to the raw sensations and emotions and the survival instincts that were activated during the traumatic event. So your body remembers what your mind forgets. When emotions were too big to process when you were a child, what happens is that your nervous system stores them for later. And over time, this can show up as anxiety, as tension, as emotional numbness. And remember that I have talked about energetics and how when emotions are pent up, they block the energy flow of the body, right? And then your aura kind of shrinks. So all these emotions, all this traumatic experience that you had, and let me tell you that you didn't have to have big trauma. Also little things that happened that were traumatic to you when you were a child. It stays in your body, and research on mind and body practices like somatic experiences and mindfulness meditation shows measurable reductions in stress hormones and improvements in emotional regulation. So, this is something that you want to become aware of, because sometimes, if I ask you right now, how do you feel? If I ask you right now, take a moment, take a deep breath. Do you feel any resistance? And where is that resistance? And I think I did this practice also in last week episode where we talk about intuition and fear, right? So you want to create the awareness that holding on to these emotions are also not doing good to your body. They are not doing good. Dr. Joe Dispenza, which I love him, adds that emotion is energy in motion. And when we revisit those stored emotions with awareness, what we're doing is that we're freeing the energy to create new possibilities. You are clearing out the static, right? You are opening up yourself and you are aligning with the authenticity, the authentic self that lives in you. This is why shadow work and inner child work is so important. So when you take the time to feel what your inner child needs, when you breathe and bring presence to those emotions instead of pushing it, como se dice, how do you call it? Avoiding them, putting them under the rug. That's what I wanted to say. You're not just doing emotional work, you're retraining your brain and your energy field to align with peace, with safety, with love. And it's a journey, my friend. We all go through it. We all have things, situation, experiences that need to be cleared, that need to be released, that need to be forgiven. And awareness is that first step. And healing happens when you choose to nurture what you once neglected. Inner child healing is about reparenting yourself. It's about becoming the loving, safe presence that your inner child didn't have at that moment. It's about listening to the voice inside that still longs for approval, for safety, for connection, and letting that voice know that you're not alone anymore. I am here for you. I see you. I love you. Your emotions are valid. What happened to you is valid. And every time you respond with compassion instead of criticism or avoidance, what you're doing is that you're rewiring your subconscious. You're showing up for yourself. And in turn, your child is going to feel more safe and secure because it trusts you. And you're creating a new template for how love feels in your body. And this is what I do with my clients. I do this. That awareness part is the first step in my Align method, which you're going to get a taste of in November 12th in that pre-workshop. It's so important to become aware of all these emotions that have been stored within us for so long. And you don't really need a big meditation to do this work. I'm going to give you 3 simple, powerful ways to start healing your inner child IRL in real life now, to start today. You don't want to wait on this, because when you start clearing space, letting go, unblocking, doing all this work, yes, it's an emotional roller coaster. I'm not going to lie. However, when you come out of it, you're going to have this beautiful slate that you can create your life from. It's like having a new canvas, where you can create your life and manifest. So, the first thing that you can do to get connected is to journal to your inner child. You can write a short letter to your younger self. Don't overthink it. Just let your emotions flow. And this is very important when you have the awareness of what resistance is coming into you. You can say, I see you. I hear you. You're safe now. I am here for you. Okay. And that is going to build a bridge between your conscious self and the parts that still need love. And we have to be very open to give that love. And I know that if you experience trauma, um, big trauma can be sexual abuse, etc. Like this huge trauma, you need to work with a therapist, right? You don't want to do this work only with a coach. You want to jump in with a therapist and do this work and do your coaching as well, so that both modalities can help you get faster results. Now, the second thing that you want to do, and I'm going to tell you this, and you probably are not going to like it, but I'm going to tell it. You're going to start noticing your triggers with curiosity. So the next time you feel anxious, you feel hurt, you feel jealous, you feel defensive, you feel, I don't know, resistant, tight. You have to pause, friend. You have to pause. You have to pause and ask, where did I feel like that for the first time? What age was I? And why am I feeling like this? And there is this practice of the 7 whys that many coaches do. And I know that other therapists do as well. You have to start asking why. Why am I feeling like this? Well, I feel like this because I don't like this person. Why do you don't like this person? Because this person reminds me of whatever, and why and why and why. You're going to get to the root of the core. You're going to get to the core of the why, and there is your answer. And naming the feeling brings awareness to where it started. And also, it gives you the space for compassion instead of feeling shame. Because what I see with some of my clients is that sometimes they feel shame about this inner child, depending on what they went through. And we have to be compassionate. You have to treat it as if it was your child. Literally, you're reparenting that version of you. And with compassion and openness and love, and accept them because they were you at some point, right? That's a version of you that you have to integrate in your life. You cannot be whole if you're leaving a part behind. So make sure that you're having compassion instead of shame. And the number 3 thing that you can do is reparent through small acts of love. Give yourself what your younger self needed most. What was it? Ask the question. When you feel that emotion, that feeling of, I don't know, anxious, hurt, or defensive, and when you pause and you ask and you find out when this happened for the first time, you can ask, what is it that you need from me? What is it that you need? Do you need reassurance? Do you need play? Do you need rest? Do you need boundaries? Do you need to be seen, heard? And these daily acts signal to your subconscious that you are safe now and you are loved. And remember, this is the beginning. This is only the beginning. If you're ready to go deeper, I invite you to join me inside my coaching container, which I'm going to leave the link in the show notes for you. Or come to the November 12th workshop. Step into alignment is completely free. And this is where We're going to explore together how to reclaim your power by releasing all these stored emotions and all limiting beliefs that are holding you back so you can start creating from a place of authentic self-worth. Okay, beautiful soul, what I want you to do is to take a deep breath and just for a moment, imagine your younger self standing before you. Look at her with softness. She's been waiting for you to see her and to hold her. Do you have her in your mind? Inner child healing isn't about fixing what's broken, friend. It's about remembering what's still whole. Neuroscience tells us your brain can always change. Your pathways can be rewritten. The beautiful thing about neuroplasticity. And spiritually, it means your energy can shift in an instant when you choose presence and love over self judgment. So, what I want you to do this week, because we are coming to a close, is that when you notice that inner voice seeking reassurance or any other form of validation, pause and whisper to yourself, I'm here now. You are safe. You are loved. And every time you do that, you're not just comforting your inner child, you're reprogramming your subconscious. You're starting your journey, right? In this process, you're calming your nervous system and you're aligning with your higher self. Okay, beautiful. So I hope that this episode serves and blesses you. If today's topic spoke to you, share it with somebody who might need this reminder. Healing is not about becoming someone new. It's about coming home to who you've always been. And when you heal your inner child, you step fully into alignment with your highest self. I'm sending you love. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I love creating it. If what you heard today resonated with you, the best way to support the show is by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. Your feedback helps me continue creating content that empowers you and deepens your spiritual connection. Just scroll down to write a review and share your thoughts. And if you love what Rewire to Align is about, share it with your friends and family. I truly believe the world transforms when we come together to create positive change. I look forward to be with you again next week.